what she discovered really fast. The scene for
Okay, our recording has started, so I would like to call the meeting to order. The first thing on our agenda this morning is going to be a few words from our CAO regarding the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. So with that, I will pass it over to Dee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On September 8th, we were saddened to be told that the Queen had passed away at Balmoral Castle on Thursday, September 8th. And the state funeral has been confirmed to take place on Monday, September 19th. In recognition of the 70 years of service and on the throne by the Queen, we will be doing a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. May God bless the Queen and long live the King.
Thank you for that, Deepak. Before we dive into our agenda, I just want everybody to know that all members of council are present today, along with our CAO, Deepak Joshi, and our Manager of Planning and Office Manager, Heather Stanek. So with that, I will call for the adoption of the agenda, please.
Resolved, the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated with the noted additions. Communications for action, Red River Paddle Challenge 5.6. New and other business 6.7, Rms St. Clement's Newsletter. 6.8, ditch mowing. 6.9, change in meeting dates, October 11th and 25th of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Council Bazarov, Council Strang seconds. Any other additions, deletions, anything you need added for the agenda today? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Then we have our minutes from August 23rd, I believe it is.
Resolve the minutes of August 23rd, 2022 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, second Councillor Boulanger. Any discussion, any corrections, additions, deletions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And as you see, we have a number of delegations, and those will be coming up at 1:30 this afternoon. So we will move on to communications for action, and the first one we have is the East Beaches Social Scene, and that's their invitation to their annual fall supper.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The invitation is for Saturday, September 24th, 2022. There are two sittings, one at 5 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. and the tickets are $25 per person, and they have invited all council members.
Okay, Heather, did you have any takers for that? Okay. I'm not sure, I'll have to let you know, so, okay. Okay, if we could have the resolution then, please, for that one.
Resolved, Councillor State Sutherland and Mayor Feeblecorn.
Yes.
And Mayor.
Did you have your sheet in?
not yet.
Okay, so Councillor State Sutherland, Councillors David Orbis, and Mayor Feeblecorn be authorized to attend the East Beaches Social Scene Annual Fall Supper in Grand Marais, Manitoba on September 24th, 2022.
So
Moved by Councillor Basil, second Councillor Spicer. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And just so everybody knows, I was up in Grand Marais a week or so ago, and Grand Marais is having, I guess it's the rec center, they're having a fish fry. It's actually this Saturday, but it's not one sitting at 5:30 and one at 7 o'clock. It's kind of a come and go. You go, you buy your ticket, you sit down, you have your dinner, and leave. So there's
Where are we having it?
right at the rec center in the bingo hall. So I don't know, Heather, maybe at some point today, if you have a minute, if you could find it on their website, I guess, because I don't think they sent an invitation or anything. I just saw them on the bulletin board there. So if anybody is interested. So. The next item we have is 5.2, Red River Basin Commission invitation for a farewell for the office manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The office manager, Steve Strang's last day was September 1st, 2022. Several council members were communicated with to see who would be attending, and as the event has already occurred, we are passing a motion for the individuals that attended the event that day.
Okay, so we could read the resolution if we make sure everybody's in there that ended up attending.
Resolved, councillors.
Oh,
Just a second.
sure.
The back of your screen is still showing whatever it
The
is.
news.
The news,
I thought what his name is.
all of them were showing the news.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, really?
I'm good
I'm good.
for a change.
So if you could exit out of the thing and then reload it, might work.
Okay.
Exit and then refresh.
Yeah, that's better.
And on this one, actually, I was also at Steve's farewell.
So, resolved, Councillor Sandra Strang, Glenn Bassarovich, and Mayor Feeblecorn be authorized for their attendance to the Steve Strang farewell at the Red River Basin Commission in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which was held on September 1st, 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Horbis. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Can I have my name removed? Like, I will not be charging if I had to be there. So I am not going to be, I'd rather my name just out. I don't know. I'll just be putting no charge then on the thing that I attended. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm doing the same thing, so, yeah.
Why did you go?
Okay, we have a mover, we have a seconder. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The next is a meeting, and you may, Heather has already sent out the letter to all of you, which is occurring tomorrow is the North Chapter meeting for the Red River Basin Commission in East St. Paul, and it's occurring on September the 14th, tomorrow, at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Just verify if everybody has been able to communicate on that.
Do they charge for that?
No.
No.
No, this is not a supper meeting or anything. It's just, it starts at 7, so there's just the 2 speakers.
Okay.
So is there other additional councillors interested beyond what's been listed?
Tomorrow at 7?
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 7 p.m. We can always give you authority, and if you were unable to make it.
I don't know if I'm gonna block you, but yeah, I'll go.
Councillor Sutherland, you're not going to?
Okay. Resolved, Mayors Feeblecorn and Councillor Scott Spicer, Sandra Strang, and David Horbis be authorized to attend the Red River Basin Commission North Chapter meeting at the East St. Paul office on September 14th, 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Bazarowitz seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
It's not on this list.
Yeah, it is. Red River, North Chapter, Red River Basin Commission.
I thought that was the end of one. Okay.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Manitoba Association of Regional Recyclers, and that's their annual kind of convention and tour that was postponed a little bit earlier this year, so they're going ahead with it on October 11th and 12th. And that was also on our list for those that were wanting to attend.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And what we have is Councillor Sutherland so far identified on here. Is there any other council members that are planning on attending?
I'm sure doing during.
Well, I guess to me that's, is that part of the reason why we're not having the October 11th meeting? Or does our bylaw say that we don't have?
No, we were just, we brought up the issue of bringing up the October 11th and the following meetings, the 2 meetings in October to determine when council would like to meet. Council can continue to meet, council can continue to attend sessions until the end, until the election day. That's
Right.
But what we wanted to have was a discussion. Normally,
Okay.
at election year, we would only have 1 meeting, and that was the intent. So it's not a matter of the blackout.
Okay, yes. Yeah, and I believe our bylaw does say that we don't have the 4th Tuesday in October. We don't have a meeting that month. And when I read it, I kind of wondered why the 11th. But that was for discussion.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I'm good with that then. Anybody else wanting to go tomorrow, or Councillor Sutherland is on his own?
So,
Go ahead.
are we having a meeting on the 11th or not?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Because I was only going, I'm just going on the 12th because of the meeting. And that's fine with me.
Right.
The 11th is a tour or whatever, so we've been enough of the tours.
We were looking to probably schedule a different day as opposed to the 11th so that there was enough time to be able to do, because it would be a combined meeting of just a regular meeting and a planning meeting at the same time.
So then,
For the 18th.
So you could look at the 18th.
18th.
Most you be doing kind of both businesses.
Correct.
Got it.
There would only be 1 meeting in October, if I'm understanding, and that would be on the 18th, and that would be everything.
Correct. Thank you.
And would that be an all-day one, like
Yes.
starting in
Yes.
the morning? and then-
No, probably
2
2,
o'clock.
because we're gonna have planning that day, so. Okay, so Councillor Sutherland, you're good to go for both days if you want. I don't know what the tour is, I don't recall. I know I looked at it, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
I still may only go for the
yeah,
12th, that's what my plan, so.
okay.
So resolve Councillor Dave Sutherland will be authorized to attend the Manitoba Association of Regional Recyclers Community Recycling and Waste Reduction Forum at the Canada Anne's Polo Park on October 11th and 12th, 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Borges, second. Councillor Spicer. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next one is the Interlake Eastern Regional Health Authority, and that is an invitation to the AGM, and I believe it's the 3rd of October.
Correct, at 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Madam Mayor. And
Virtual, right?
Yes, it is all virtual.
So anybody can tune in, right?
Anybody can tune in, that's right.
so maybe what we can do is just authorize all of council.
Yeah.
Resolve, Mayor Feeblecorn and council be authorized to attend the Interlake Eastern Regional Health Authority annual meeting virtually on October 3rd, 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second. Councillor Sutherland. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next item is the Red River Paddle Challenge, and I believe that was one of our additions from this morning. And
Correct,
that,
Madam Mayor.
yeah, and that is the end of September, I believe.
Yes, September 24th. The Red River Paddle Challenge is a 44-kilometer distance paddle race on the Red River, beginning in Winnipeg and ending down the river in Lockport, Manitoba, and it does end on our side of the river. Events do take place, and our setup is around 9:30. We will have staff help set this up, as well as council is awarded to attend the ceremony, which will begin at 4 p.m. at the half moon.
Okay, any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I don't have to eat hot dogs.
Maybe
No hot dog
one.
contest this time.
Maybe one.
Well, I just want the choice.
Well, you're looking for a free meal.
No, you can have ice cream this time, Scott.
As much as you can eat.
But anybody can show up for this too, right?
Yeah,
If you put your
anybody.
name down and you say you're not gonna go, you could still show up.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
If you're- So we should maybe include all of council.
I think so. I think so.
Resolve Mayor Feeblecorn and council members be authorized to attend the Red River Paddle Challenge at the Half Moon Drive-In on September 24th, 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Boulanger seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Yeah, I went last year and I thought it was kind of neat to see all the different paddlers come in because some were on, what do you call them? The boards, just standing up paddling. And there was canoes and there was dragon boats, there was everything. It was actually really, really cool. And in behind Half Moon, it's kind of nice in there because you can go right down to the river and watch them all come in, so, and cheer them on as they come in. I thought that was kind of cool too.
So our flags will be there again?
Yep.
And all that?
And
Go ahead.
not sure if we'll, instead of, remember around council, we sat and said we weren't gonna give them money this year, but we were gonna get it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked, and I think Brenna's just double checking on that everything's gonna go through. And the other thing I was just gonna add to the mayor's description there, that we have people from Minnesota, North Dakota, like people come up from the US for this. I was gonna enter it, but now it's gotten to be really a race. That's out of my league. But it used to be more casual before for everybody, but now they're really getting competitive. Like the ones that are at the beginning, there's still the other people that do attend and participate in it. It's like quite a few people and
Yeah,
surprising. So,
That's good.
yeah. And Red River North Tourism will be set up down there too, and they really promote us, so they want us right next door to them.
Is that Maryland?
Maryland and Lois, yeah, they'll be down there too.
yeah, so. Okay, that was just a little bit of a sidebar, so I guess we're to new and other business. Number 6.1 is the community service sign for East Selkirk. And there are a couple in the municipality, and I'll pass it over to Deepak to have the explanation for us.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The community service signs are on Highway 59, northbound and southbound. On each side, they're on the provincial right-of-way. And as the RCMP are ending their lease with the RM and moving to East St. Paul location, the signs are no longer appropriate, and the province has offered to make a change to that sign at no cost to the RM. But we have a choice to make as to what symbol we would like to have. Presently, there's a symbol for fuel, food, boat launch, police, and Trans-Canada Trail. I'll bring up a sign for you to show you what it looks like. So as you can see,
My computer's not working.
things are just moving a little slower. I apologize for that. And so you can see the fuel, the food, the boat, and the police sign, as well as the Trans-Canada Trail sign. So we've looked at it and we've offered up 3 different options for these signs. The 3 options that we looked at, initially we weren't sure what the Trans-Canada Trail sign meant. It was a little difficult for myself. I hadn't seen that sign before. And so we've recommended looking at 3 different options. One is the hiking trail, but if we've got a Trans-Canada Trail sign, we may not need a hiking trail sign. We've got, the other option was a baseball and soccer field or recreation center. So those are the 2 options that we're looking at offering. To give you an idea of what those signs look like, it's M190 and M192. And what I have is the symbols here for those signs.
I like the rec sign because it covers everything. Yeah, that's a good, either one of those 2, I think, instead of the hiking one.
So that is the recreation sign, 192, And 190, as you can see, it shows a baseball player and a soccer player.
Yeah, either one is good with me.
I think the rec one because ball's hockey, that's everything.
Anyone else?
I think the 190 sign is more visual right away when people
Yeah.
are driving by rather than knowing what a box was, because I agree with our CAO. I was looking to what that other sign was, and I was looking on the little legend here, and I didn't know that that was Trans-Canada Trail either, so something that's a little bit more visual, easy when you're driving by on the highway, but like, you know, we do have hockey here too at the arena, so.
You can maybe stick a hockey stick in there.
But I think the 190 is like quick visual with your driving, so I don't know. Either one of them agree, but
See, in 189 is arena, skating, curling. Well, we have skating and hockey. There really isn't one for hockey though that I can see.
Yeah, maybe that one would be better because more people come out from the city to do the hockey. It's all local who do baseball and
Lots of
soccer.
soccer, I think, those bridges use their tournaments. They have
baseball tournaments that they use at the places.
Recreation's fine, the administration doesn't have a choice, it's up to council to choose. on
So
this
is it
one.
only one sign that they're giving us?
Just giving us
Yeah.
one to replace it.
So, yeah, you couldn't tell. For instance, like the boat launch, like this down by the fire hall is just crazy with boats
Well, I
here.
think the boat launch
Yeah.
is on the original sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, still will stay on
Yeah.
there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Go to the original sign, Deepak. Please.
I think recreation center is more appropriate, but I agree with Councilor Strang, like, the visual of it isn't that great.
Yeah. It looks like a house building.
Yeah.
A house
You'd be
Yeah,
Like,
see if
people
you
might
go-
think,
better off
oh,
with
we know
the
there's houses there.
ball and soccer one.
Just go with 190, yeah.
See, there's gas station, food, boat launch,
Okay.
police is coming out, and then the last one is the Trans-Canada Trail, so we want to replace that police one.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, what's the,
oh, go ahead.
sorry,
That's
the one
okay.
with the fork in that's a restaurant?
Food, food.
So that I know, but where, that's a star, oh, yes, that's it. then.
This place there.
The booth,
The boot in here.
Oh, okay, yeah, here.
And here, when they have, like, in the
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, 190 or 190?
90,
90? 90?
190, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Glenn.
Doesn't matter.
I'm changing it to that.
yeah, I'll read it out to you. Whereas the RCMP is relocating the RMV St. RCMP is relocating to the RMV St. Paul, and whereas the Village of East Soccer Community Service sign located on path 59 at path 212 currently has a police symbol which will become invalid as of September 30th, 2022, and whereas the province reached out to offer a new motorist service symbol to replace the police symbol, therefore be it resolved the police symbol be replaced with MI-190 soccer and baseball and soccer.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Ward with seconds, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call a question, all those in favor, opposed, and that is carried.
So those St. Paul's are stealing everything. They took our police, they took our planning board.
They don't want our garbage.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor Strong.
Just, are they going into a separate building or into the, like, have they found an office there to go into?
No, they're going into, police are going into their building, because they're there already.
Yes, so they're just amalgamating their forces to be a little bit more centrally located there, and they still police.
Just, I know
the
there
entire
are
area.
two complete separate divisions,
That's
so
right.
that's why I thought, and I know from comments made that this division looks after all the way Headingley and, like, they have a big area, right?
So I think the intent was to be able to get, and I think they are looking at some additional space in the future. But at this point, I think they're locating within that
Just
existing
for
space.
So is it more central from there?
It kind of is, because they're closer to the perimeter, they can get out to Headingley way quicker than here. To me, logistically, I think that's,
Okay.
I think
Well,
it's,
I wasn't sure what their whole range was.
Yeah, they go quite a distance.
West St. Paul would make more sense. It would, logistically, like you said.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Citizen of the Year nomination. And Deepak, if you would just want to go through that.
This is the Selkirk District Community Foundation, which is asking for nominations for the Citizens of the Year, and we had some discussions about this last meeting, and it was just a matter of time to determine if the council wanted to recommend any names for Citizen of the Year.
Well, I guess because we have to submit it, maybe we should have a bit of a discussion in camera because we don't want them to know ahead of time if we're going to nominate somebody. So if we could just have a short discussion a little later today.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll come back to this item afterwards. Madam.
Yeah. Okay, and the next one on our agenda is Municipal Relations Outcomes and Strategy Policy Branch, and it was a delivery improvement program. If you want to go ahead, please, Deepak.
Specifically, what they were looking for was some options for service delivery improvements and to be able to present those to the province of Manitoba. We have not submitted anything, but they did submit the notice that it was available, that since the deadline was September 30th and the September 5th deadline did not align with many of the council meetings, they had extended that date to be able to allow for anybody to submit. This is as information for council, as we haven't submitted any specific service delivery improvements, not saying that we haven't completed service delivery improvements, but nothing specifically related with this program.
Okay, any questions or comments? We'll just receive this as information then.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. 6.4 is the St. Hubertus Gun Club and the resident concern, and I believe the resident has come to see us a couple of times, and I think now put his complaint in writing. And go ahead.
when I read this, I mean, I would have to agree. I mean, over the years that I've sat here, we have always been open and giving to St. Hubert's when they've come for different events and extra events and special events. I could only imagine living near there and listening to this, and I think one day of reprieve is fair, reasonable. So reading his letter, it makes all the sense in the world to me that if you're living near there and you're hearing shooting 5 days a week, my goodness, Sunday, that I want to sit on my deck and just listen to the birds, I think this is more than reasonable.
Now, I know that there was some information, and I'm not sure if that was at the last meeting or if it's attached here.
It was the last meeting.
The last meeting. Go ahead, Councilor Bazarovich.
They're not shooting every day, they have access to it. This, the odd guy coming here, there, whatever. The Sunday thing, this is a big event, like, Broken Head went through this too, they had to relocate. They had the Olympic shooting team there, and why wouldn't you support them? Like, I don't understand. This year, it's an event, they come from the States, they come from all over Canada to these things. But it's a one-day thing, it's not boom, 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 all day, every day.
Can I add a little bit of clarification on this, Madam Mayor?
Sure, go right ahead, please.
In the past, when they have requested for Sunday, they've had to give up the Saturday. And so, in order to stay consistent, council can say that they would be allowed for a maximum 6 days if they were requesting for a Sunday, that the Saturday would be then taken away. That's one option that Council Grant.
That's fair, and only so many times a year they can do that.
Correct.
Yeah, that's, I think,
Councillor Spicer, and then I'll go over to the other side.
I think, the challenge has been when the gentleman was here last time, you know, in these organizations, some people leave and then a new person comes in and they don't necessarily understand what the process is. And I think that's what's happened here. There's been, you know, a lack of transfer of information and process. And I understand the frustration from this resident, because if it's kind of been a bit of a free-for-all, I can see why he's concerned. So I think from last meeting, we were going to sit down with the gun club, right? Or the shooting club, sorry, and kind of lay out how it works. So, you know, I think what we need to do, in my opinion, is go through the process, lay out how it works, see if they can follow what they're supposed to be following, and probably that will alleviate a lot of concerns, because as our CAO said, well, you know, if you shoot on Sunday, you're not shooting on Saturday, because I believe even without an extra approval, it's only 6 days a week. That was the original conditional use?
I believe so.
Yeah. So regardless, if we give them a Sunday, then they have to give it another day out. So there will be 1 day of rest, if that's,
Tuesday.
you know, so I think we need to go through the process and see what the reaction of the shooting club is, and go from there. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland. I'm sorry if I missed you before.
Wait on rate, it wasn't going anywhere. I got too much to say on it, and I agree with Rob, like, if you can't just plan all your events in 6 days out of the week, and one that you don't, and Sundays, I just don't think we should be allowed to do it Sundays, that's all. Even if you switch. I guess I could live with that if they have something on a Sunday, it's a Saturday, but I would prefer just to see nothing happening on a Sunday. Same as Rob. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Go ahead, Sandra.
I'm going to agree with both on this side. So I'm just ending up that, you know what, people still work like through the weekend, but on the weekend, especially in the summer, you want to have some time outside to enjoy and sit and have a little bit of peace and quiet. So I'm going to agree with just having they flip 1 day or the other. Now, the other thing is with our conditional use that we have, are they coming in front of us did we have it that they'd have to come in front of us every time, or was there a time period, or do they have that for the whole time that the gun club's there?
Well, if I remember correctly, and Deepak will probably correct me on this one, but the way I thought it was is that they were allowed to have so many Sunday events.
They're supposed to come annually.
It's
As
identified.
the date and request.
So that isn't happening either. So I'll agree with Councillor Spicer then that maybe something's happened with communication.
Yeah.
And this gentleman was asking just for the summer months. Once fall comes, that's when he came in front of us, that was one of his things for the summertime. So
Right.
there'd be 1 day on the weekend that there wouldn't be anything.
So how would council like to proceed? Go ahead and say your words, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do here.
So as they're required to come annually and request for any changes from the Monday to Saturday, at which point council can determine that we have a request from the citizen and the council feels strongly that they shouldn't be allowed unless there was a very special circumstance. That can be explained in their annual request, and we'll make sure that they understand. So what council is deciding on is that they're in support of the residents' concern, that we will look at managing it to 6 days a week, And if there are special circumstances, there will be enough notice given to be able to accommodate.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's just that going back in the past, not this council, but council, the Rms placed them there because they were having problems opening the south end. So the north end. But that was the whole idea, is that they were up in the middle of nowhere. And people have built up around them now, and we're gonna relocate them again, I don't think so. And you're talking about, people having recreation day or day off or whatever, well, people in the gun clubs, that is the recreation, that's what they do. Just saying.
Go ahead, Sandra.
I was gonna say, but we've given subdivisions in that area to allow people to build too, so, there's the other way of looking at it also, so. So maybe we should have had it that people couldn't build around that area of where we moved them also, but, But I think with the 6 days, that they do have, how many, and there are gonna be times that they're gonna have a Saturday and a Sunday when they have a special event, but if they aren't coming in front of us annually to request it, and I think they have to they should have it on their website so the residents can know too of when those days are, so we aren't getting.
Go ahead, Councilor Borges.
I think what Scott said is what we have to do, we have to look at everything again and then sit down with, the powers that be and then straighten it all out so it's on the right path and then we follow procedure, to be fair. Because I guess what Glenn's saying, what was in the past, but things change, people move there now and they're closer and that, so we have to be a little bit more aware of what's going on around there, so get the rules straight and then make a procedure and then go forward. I don't know if they're allowed so many times a year, then why would we have to come to council? It'll just be a matter of letting us know the day that they want or whatever, and then if it all fits in with the schedule, then, feedback, then you can approve it or let it go forward.
Right now, it's as per the conditional use council reviews it
Okay.
on an annual basis.
And I guess, the only comment that I would have, and maybe at some point in time, maybe they're gonna have the Manitoba Championships there, and they may need to have the Saturday and Sunday, like, I don't know how it all works, but in my mind, then they would have to come and ask for special permission to have a 2-day event if it's something like that, and, I know in the past that they've had to relocate because of the reasons we're talking about. They're there, people start moving in, and basically they end up having to move, and they move from one location to that location, and when they moved there was not very many people around there. So, I think we have to look at the whole picture, as Councillor Spicer said, and make sure that they're following the rules, and if there is something that needs a bit of tweaking, they should be coming forward to us, and if we need to amend the conditional use or have them reapply or, anything like that, because I think they can just come once a year by letter. They don't have to reapply or anything. It's just to change the dates and things like that. So, so I think if we follow that route, we should be okay.
I guess initially too, there was an old garbage dump beside there, so nobody thought anybody was gonna build close to that either, so that was, at the time,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
good.
go ahead.
I mean, again, in the future, if anybody comes to us with a subdivision or wanting to buy a lot, I think it's prudent on council to mention it. And I'm not saying it in a way to scare them away from buying it, but you simply say in the meeting, are you aware there's a gun club nearby?
Right.
Because often people don't know their land floods, and the young couple that came to us, they had no clue their land. We said, are you aware it floods? No, we're not. Well, if someone came here and wanted land there, and we said, are you aware there's a gun club? We're giving them information that we don't want to come back and bite us later, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so are we going to ask Deepak to move forward with this, or are we going to give it to Tyler to look after for now?
Tyler has been communicating with the gun club. We'll
Okay.
make sure that they understand the rules, and then we'll make sure that they follow it as we follow through. He'll also, he manages it through the noise bylaw if they do violate that rule.
Okay. So that one is good. Now we're moving on to the Red River North Tourism, the 2023 Garden and Art Tour. What they're looking for is if we know of any gardens or yards that could be included in the tour for next year. And I think they want them by a certain date.
By November 1st.
So if anybody knows of any yards, gardens, I don't know if you want to bring this back in October or just bring it back in October if we can think of any gardens. And they can be anywhere. I know that art and garden tour was in the 3 municipalities. I didn't participate, I couldn't that day, but Sandra, you were on it, right?
Yep.
And how many did we have in our municipality?
4.
4. But they're not from one end of the municipality to the other, yeah. I guess if we could find, 3 or 4 in the same area, they might extend it a little bit, but we'd have to look at that. So everybody look at your neighbors' yards and gardens and see if we can come up with a few names to submit to them. And can we bring this back for the next meeting, then please do that.
You definitely can.
Thank you.
And just one question. Is it just a recommendation that council would like to make, or would you like us to place it on our website for anybody that'd like to know, put their garden name forward?
That might be easier.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll put it on our website as well.
Okay, so then, the Grand Marais information, were you going to go through that now, or were you going to leave that all for
We'll be
later?
leaving that for later,
Yeah.
at 1:30, so we'll come back to that.
Okay, so then we're going down to 6.7, the Rms Newsletter, and I believe that was one that Councillor Strang had asked to put on.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Why I wanted it added is because I believe that we have such great news in this council to share with our residents, and I just find we're not getting it out there. So that was one of my things that I thought, how can we get more news and get our information out to our residents? So I was thinking that maybe, they have those little libraries boxes. Maybe we could have something like that put, and I don't know, we'd have to have certain locations, that maybe we could put like 20 copies of our newsletter, see how it goes. If they get empty, then maybe put like 10 more next time. But I just think there's the residents that are out there that aren't on our social media, they don't go on our website, they don't have internet, there's still the elderly residents out there, but I know I take a couple copies and drop it off at certain people, stick it in their paper box. That's how they're getting out the information, and I just think our newsletter is really good, and I just think we have to find some source to get it out there to our residents better. So I don't know, that was just my thought, so I thought I'd bring it up there. And
Go ahead, Councillor Horvis.
The RM of Gimli prints a newsletter, because we have some property there, and they send it out, I think we get it quarterly, and that covers a whole bunch of stuff. I think we should go back to mailing that to some people, when we talked about that before, that we could put that in there. I think you're right, there's a lot of people that don't go on the internet and that, and I find that letter from Gimli there, when I get it, I usually go through it, because there's a lot of good stuff in there, and so.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So, the big challenge here is probably cost, right?
yeah.
Even if we started out with, and it's not necessarily the newsletter you're producing right now, but a year in review or something like that, and did it once a year, at least if we hit the high points, then people would be getting some information. So I mean, I agree, because I knocked on a lady's door the other day, and she says, I tried to phone you, and I said, oh yeah, did you leave me a message? And she said, well, I couldn't find your number.
Did you ask her where she looked?
So I said, you know, it's on the website, and she said, well, we don't do that. So, you know, there are people still out there that are not getting what we're doing, because they're just
They're not connected.
not connected at this time. So I think it is something that we gotta take a look at, because we're missing a part of the sector of population.
You could send one out at tax time.
Well, we used to put one in the
Yeah.
tax bills at one time, but we haven't done that for a number of years. And I'm gonna scoot out, but before I leave, I'm just gonna throw my 2 cents in. I agree with what Sandra's saying, that we have to get it out there, and I think we all agree that, yes, we do have to get it out there. But I'm just wondering, you know, at one time you used to be able to pick up your newspaper at a drop box by the mailboxes, and I wondered if we had our own small little boxes, as Sandra said, like the little libraries,
That would be the list.
by the mailboxes, and in the rural areas at the post offices or by the post offices. I wonder if that would work.
How often would you publish it then?
Well,
Or
probably
put it in those
monthly,
Monthly?
yeah? Just
See,
like we
doing
do
it
now.
mailing, you still have the people that don't wanna read it, and it goes on the ground too, right?
Well, that's
So
the other
and then
thing.
it's a cost for, I just thought, I was just trying to think that, and then there's the residents that you talk to that are connected, but they go, Sandra, as soon as I come home, I'm disconnecting, I unplug, like, cause they live on it at work, right? So unless they read it at work, they said, when we come home, I think COVID has changed so much for everybody, once they come home, that everybody just go back to the
Everybody wants to
basics.
be informed, but
Yeah.
what they want, because then they say, well, I never heard about that. you know.
Yep.
Well, you know.
Anyways, I don't know, that was just a suggestion of mine, and I thought I'd bring it forward, and I just know
Very
that.
good suggestion, Councilor Stern. Very good.
Thank you, Councilor Horvis.
Okay, I'm going to ask the Deputy Mayor, Councilor Bazarowicz, to take over. I'm out of here, and I hope to be back for 1:30.
So in regards to the newsletter,
Yeah.
just to close that out, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
So administration can report back with some options and costs relative to that.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, we'll see you all a little later.
Okay.
Oh, we're not taking the break,
Nope, nope. The cheat sheet.
Is it okay for me to stay here, or should I move?
Fine. You can send it.
Okay, next, we'll be back, additional.
A request by Councilor Strang as well, and just to clarify on that one, we do have two grass cutting as part of our contract, and our grass cutting is September 21st to October 16th, so they will be beginning within about a week and a half.
The only reason I brought it up, because I already see election signs out, not in our municipality yet, but in other ones, and they are sitting in weeds, and I thought, how are they going to, so I was just wondering when ours are going to be happening, and then I've had from people, residents that have complained about it, and I said, oh, you're on a provincial road, and they've said that the province hasn't even cut for the first time yet down their place, so I said, wow, I said, well, we have to get on, but just with all the rain and that, they're wild this year.
It is, it's been an unusual year, you know, in previous years, 2 grass cuttings per year have been sufficient. This year, the grass grew faster than we could cut it.
Maybe that's a different thing to put in the tender too, depending if it gets wild, to have an extra one.
Yeah, not to mention it, you get down there, it's wet still. It's amazing up on top how it's cracked and dry, which is just still wet.
Okay, there's 2 councillors.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
So just further to that, to be first and somebody has to be last, but we don't need to be last every year.
We can certainly do that. We can contact the province to see when they're redoing it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Dave?
Yeah. So over for this year, will be the one more cutting, but if I'm sitting around here next year, they have Schulte moors, and they can go into the ditch just like our moors did. I'm just gonna give our roads an example. I didn't phone Greg this summer, it's, you know, they're contracted out. You could have went with it was only the width of one of their moors. They didn't put in the ditch, they didn't do that the year before, and Greg sent one of our machines that did it, but that's not the point. Your contractees, they're not doing a good job. I've never said anything but that ditching come up today. And there's some areas that you're gonna have to get it as needed, cut more than twice a year. The village, like most of the people don't cut their, but some don't. And it's supposed to look, your village and your populated area, it's not, it all should look good, but you don't can only do so much. And it's not getting done right, and I'm not happy with it, but I just want to get that out there now. And I know when they come down our road again, it'll just be a little strip. They're not doing a proper job. And they can't tell me that it can't be done, because it can. So, not happy with it. And we'll have to get, like I say, Rebec Road and the surrounding areas, if it has to be done 3 times a year, and if the village has to be done or popular, then it should be done. It's gonna cost more money, yes, but, and you know, you drive to other municipalities, I hate to make a comparison, but they do, and you know, it's your roads, your roadsides. Some of them, like, they just do a beautiful job. And these, the ones who contracted years ago, and we used to do it ourselves, it was a little bit better, but I'm sure this is a different outfit, and they're not putting,
Yeah, the first year it was done, it was really
yeah,
good.
they're not putting effort into it.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says, and I did that before, so I'm not talking through my hat, so, don't like it. But I just wanna get that comment out there, because if I'm sitting here, I'm definitely gonna be, when it comes up for our contracting out, I would like to see it, things done a little differently. And if it means costing more money and cutting the grass more often, so be it. Thank you, that's it.
Sandra?
I would agree 100% with Councillor Sutherland, and, because that's an image of us too, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I agree too, down in our populated areas, whether it's in the village, whether it's down south, wherever that is, that's, like, you know, people are looking at it all the time, and 100% that they aren't. I've had actually residents complain that they just do, and they'll go later and go in further in their ditch, and I said, well, is there water in there? And they'll say, no, we went in it ourselves and did it. But I know there are the ditches that are the deeper, steeper, that do have some moisture that they can't go in, but you're 100% right, they aren't putting them over down thing, they're just doing a little bit along the edge, and that's it.
Because it's just one thing, they have handy hitches, so the tractor stays on doesn't have to go into the ditch. The handy hitch slides over, goes into the bottom of the ditch. It takes a little more effort when it's, you know, when you've got a bad slope, you know, or 1 to 3 or 1 to, but a little more effort takes a little more time to be done. If it takes an extra half hour to do that mile or out, so be it. Okay, thank you.
Robert?
Maybe during contract time, or when we're reading the contracts, we tell them that you must have the equipment that can reach the bottom of the ditch, because one that came by my place, his equipment he didn't have the little jig and jog that went lower. A lot of these companies, they have a mower, then they have an arm, like you say, that goes down, and there's another mower lower down in the ditch, and it's got like 2, and it's going like this. Well, the one that came by my place didn't have that, so we couldn't even get down there. That should be part of the contract, that you have the equipment necessary to get as low into the bottom of the ditch. If the company doesn't have it, say what you move on to the next one.
Start.
And I think that, I'm just gonna make a suggestion. Because our contract seems a little bit rigid right now, okay? And that's fine, but the weather isn't. So, you know, I agree with some of the comments here about this year, but I drove up Old Henderson today and the grass is as tall as the top of my hood of my car, right? So there's a safety aspect here too. My suggestion would be, when we're looking at the contract, maybe look at some of the specifications as you guys are talking about. But maybe what we should be doing is, and I don't know if this will work, still do the 2 with the option to have extra, because we don't want them out mowing if it's been a drought all summer and wasting money either. Right? Because this year is one thing, last year was another. Right? Like last year, the grass really didn't grow that well. So I think we need to put something in there that allows us to have that flexibility depending on weather.
Last year it was dry, they did the same job.
Yeah,
Terrible
but
job.
I don't want them out
Wet
there
or dry,
going
it's
3
the
times if
operator,
it's dry.
the ones that's doing it. The depth of your cut.
Yeah.
So,
The point I'm making is I don't want them out there mowing 3 times and then mowing nothing.
I get it, but not only go if need be.
Yeah,
But,
and I think we can word it that way, I think it can be done.
Yep. Okay. We beat this one to death. Next, we got meeting dates.
Should we save that till the mayor comes back?
Good.
Or if you're comfortable, we can make a decision on it. We said October 18th, and I think everybody is fine with that. We'll change the meeting date to the October 18th. So, if you'd like, I could
You
read the
have to put
motion.
in the newsletter, or I mean in the paper, meeting change
We'll
date.
be
not
notified on our
advertised.
website and so forth.
Okay.
So whereas the municipal election is October 26, 2022, therefore be it resolved, the October 11th and 25th meetings be canceled with all regular and planning meet hearings to be dealt with at the October 18th meeting. And further be it resolved, the meeting times for the October 18th meeting be changed to regular meeting matters at 2 p.m. and planning matters at 6 p.m.
So moved. Dave, second by Rob, all in favor? Terry? Sandra?
Since St. Andrews and us use the same planner, will we have to just check the?
We will be notified of that because they were requesting to find out what was the date.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, accounts?
Okay, so for the accounts, we have a closed list of accounts, which is resolved, council approved the September 13th, 2022 list of accounts, check numbers 2200-1969 to 2200-2163 in the amount of $1,532,533.87 for payment.
The mover? Scott? Sandra? Anybody have anything on that they want to bring up? Not? All in favor? Carried. Mr. Administrator, financial statement?
They will be coming at the next meeting.
Okay.
And the next item on the agenda is communications for information, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Anybody have any concerns with that? Deepak, did you have anything that you thought we should discuss on that?
I just thought that I assume everyone has seen the farewell letter from Mr. Strang.
Yep.
Who has supplied it to all the council and all members to thank you for his years of service and farewell. As well, what I wanted to bring to your attention was the Heritage Wing report, the summer report. I think it was very good news and some good information as to the number of visitors that have been coming there. And the specific thing on the Heritage Wing report that's of identification that Mr. Miller has identified is that the display the display units will need to be replaced soon. That'll be something we can bring forward in a discussion as part of the budget process. Okay, otherwise, things have been going well. They did have some challenges with filling the positions, as we've had throughout the RM of filling summer positions. There's the newsletter, so those are the only major items that I wanted to bring to your attention.
Sandra?
I'm just gonna comment on what our CAO, I think that's great information that they did send, and just only amplifies that we do have to do something and spend a little bit, because there's days there was 109 people coming in, I'm like, wow, like, you know, it was their days, and it wasn't even the days of the market, so, but it was on the weekend, so they do have quite a few people stopping in there, taking a walk through. Like, I was impressed with too, with the numbers that were there, it was nice and pleased to see that, so.
Anything else? Council reports next, Lisa? Please. Dave, you want to start?
Sure. August the 3rd, was our Grand Rate open house. I'd like to say it went well, but we don't have to say that. Usually after zero open house. I guess it was well attended, pardon me. You know, people will come and go, so I don't know exactly how many attended, but there was quite a few, and the comments were mostly negative. August 4th, GMCC meeting. Councilor Horton and I attended. I think you were there, Dave? Yeah, doesn't matter. 60 people on the waiting list now for the RV park. List is getting longer, so yeah. We had talked about that chain link fence. Femi had informed Susan she would need a variance, and I don't know where they're at with that yet. We did increase the RV park fees to $2,500 per year. That's only a $32.50 increase. And we're in line with other RV parks, you know, we're still, so we did increase it a bit. Also, there was some water issues, drainage issues in the, I think I brought that up also at the meeting after that, like at the meeting we had here. And I believe Greg was approached as if we could just send our surveyor there for this year just to kind of address the problems, see what could be done for next year. Because of the rain, like there was, Susan informed us there was water in the sites across the driveways, you know, so yeah, a little bit of an issue there. Gene McDonald is the Heritage Wing interpreter. Be there 30 hours a week. August the 5th, attended the powwow in Scanterbury. August the 6th, the Gull Lake picnic. Not as many people, I don't think, as there was the last time, but anyway, I think it's well good. Kids, that looks fun. August the 9th, committee of the whole meeting. August the 12th, the open house. I think that was well attended. Quite a few people. A good one, good. September 4th, attended the Lakeshore Heights Association meeting. Mayor Feeblecorn and myself attended that. And they thanked council for the grant, the $20,000 grant for their Rex equipment that they have to buy, the light structures and everything. But they were very thankful of that. September 6th, the Activities Center, ribbon cutting. And September 9th, the ARM meeting at Laurie House. And that was it. Thank you.
Any questions to Dave? Sandra?
No? Oh, my turn. Sorry. August 23rd, our council planning meeting. August 30th, I also attended the water treatment plant's ribbon cutting. September 1st, I attended Red River Basin Steve Strang's farewell. And September 3rd, attended the Gull Lake Fall Supper with the mayor. That was it was a packed house. They had a live band there. That place was rocking there. So that was nice to see all the people. I think that was their first fall supper that they were having since previous to COVID.
On that, I did get a call from somebody from tourism asking if there was any fall suppers going on in the RM. I told her to call Debbie, she usually attends them, so I didn't hear of anything at that time.
I guess that one fish fry that they're gonna have at Grand Way this weekend.
And the one next
Yeah, we should be putting those on our website too when we hear them.
Well, and it just helps them sell tickets too, right? But, because I know ours were at the door that we paid for them there, so. On September 6th, attended the ribbon cutting at the Sault St. Clements Park and the announcement of our funding for our building. And that there was probably, I don't know, 40 people there approximately. So actually a lot of local people came. There was people there that donated for the park benches also and the picnic tables. Their families were there. So it was nice to see, and they're very excited that things are actually progressing and moving along because they donated the money before COVID time, and we've just delayed everything that haven't been able to get together. When we were going to be getting together, everything shut back down again with regulations. So that was nice. September 9th, I also attended the ARM meeting in St. Andrews at Hunt's Roadhouse. And there were a lot of people that were not going to be running in the next election, so it was a mix of everybody there. And they also had a band there for the evening. It was sort of the last farewell meeting. And September 12th, I attended our RPD executive meeting at East St. Paul, and that was our first in-person meeting that we've had since I've been on the planning board. I did take over for you one time that you were away on vacation. Otherwise, that was my first
In the chamber?
No, we didn't have it in the chamber. We had it at East St. Paul, but that was my first in-person meeting with planning. So, and that's everything.
Thank you. Any questions for Council Strang?
So, are they moving, when are they gonna move into the new building?
Nothing has been finalized through the board or nothing.
Oh, so they're not moving? They don't know yet? Or did they get the building or what?
Everything's still sitting up in the air. So nothing's been finalized by the board. They've probably the next meeting that they'll be bringing.
So they don't know.
Still baffles me why they want to leave that beautiful chamber. It's a nice chamber in the library. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make
And it's easy.
And it's convenient for everybody. It's fair where it is.
yeah.
Even though it's not in the RMs that are, associated with it, I mean.
I think that's part of it, that they want to get out, but, I think right now with all the staff they have, they're using that hall, the next door, where we have the usual RRPD meetings where the public is open to. They use that even for desks right now for some of their staff, so. From what I understood from yesterday's meeting, that they're using it.
And they're gonna move to a smaller facility.
It's to me, it's two things. It's to spite, and I'm just going to say it, it's just to spite Selkirk. I mean, there's a rift there, whatever, and if that's why you want to leave, to me, it doesn't make sense. The other thing is, they should just, the board should make a decision on what's best for the board, not what's best for the employees of the board.
Well, they gave notice to Salkirk already saying they're leaving, didn't they, Scott?
Yeah, but then it got extended or something.
Yeah, there's an extension till
So
December.
what will happen with the rest of that part that they're not there anymore? Will Salkirk put their planning in there? It's all gonna be library led.
Well, that's what they want. They
Okay.
wanted years ago.
Originally, when the province sized out the library, like they did a study on it, right?
Can we put this in the in-camera discussion?
Oh,
Mainly because it's dealing with the lease agreement, and I can explain the lease agreement and how that occurred. That
Yeah.
is, the lease agreement.
Sounds good. Anything else?
Nope, that's everything, thank you.
Councilor Blanchard?
Just two things, August 12th, the RM open house, well attended, lots of people there. And August 30th, the water plant ribbon cutting, that's it for me.
Okay, Councilor Horvis?
August 12th, open house, August 30th, ribbon cutting for the water treatment plant. The 6th, the ribbon cutting for the activity center. And the 9th was the arm dinner. That's it for me.
Any questions, Dave? Scott?
So I also attended the water treatment plant opening on, and ribbon cutting on August the 30th. September the 2nd was committee of the whole. And short discussion on the planning ribbon cutting for September the 6th, which I attended. I went to South St. Clements Park, and of course the grant announcement was made that day too. September 8th, we were at the Bob Jefferson charity event, which, by the way, there were 4 awesome shots made. We can talk
Too
more
bad,
about
Scott,
that
too
later.
late. Go ahead.
Doesn't happen very often, I gotta brag about it when it happens. September the 9th, Association of Rural Municipalities, and that was their, I guess, their last meeting before election. That's all I got.
Any questions? Okay, well, we've covered some of these already. I'll be brief. August 30th, we were all at the water treatment plant ribbon cutting. September 1st, Red River Basin Director's funeral, or retirement, pardon me. Yeah. September 8th, I too was at the Bob Jefferson charity event with Councilor Horvis, Councilor Spicer, and Mr. Administrator. And September 9th, the Army event at Hunts Roadhouse. And that's it for me. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you. Similar events, August 30th, the East Selkirk Water Treatment Plant ribbon cutting. I also had several internal meetings and planning meetings throughout the week, and then we had the brief cow meeting with the RM online on the 2nd of September, and on the 1st was the going away for Red River Basin Commission, as well as September 6th, we had the event for our South St. Clements Activity Center and building, along with the Rotary Peace Pole event, and then the Bob Jefferson Golf Tournament on the 8th, and then the Arms Special event on the 9th. And any other items to be discussed afterwards?
Yeah, I missed the
The cow meeting?
that and the south end. Anyway, yeah, I got something else on my mind. Heather, anything that I have?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
Shall
thank
we
you.
go into in camera, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, let's take 5, you want to 5, is Greg gonna be in camera?
Why don't we go with in camera first, and then we could, then we can bring Greg in, and we can take 5 minutes before.
Sounds good.
Is the resolution
Want me
coming
to
up?
read it?
Ready? Yeah, please.
Resolve council recess the regular meeting and go into in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues. Further be it resolved, all matters discussed are to remain confidential.
Moved by Council Sprang, second by Council Sullivan. All in favor? That is carried.
Okay,
I'm going to shut the cameras off.
yeah, in 5 minutes, I'll go and shut the doors.
This camera?
Mike's coming in.